are talking about the gate 41, which is going to be at the bottom right of the root center on the body graph, and it's going to be going to gate 30. If you have that channel, it would be 41 to 30, but we're just going to be talking about the gate today. So what is the gate 41, the gate of fantasy or gate of imagination all about? So this is going to be, again, at the root center, which is a pressure center. The gate 41 is going to be for people, I do have this gate, I love talking about this gate, but it's going to be like the start of all human experiences. This gate is going to be all about experiences and what it feels like to live out that experience. This is going to be a pressure gate, like I had mentioned, so there's going to be a pressure for new experiences and to gain experiences in the world. If you have this gate, especially in an open center, if you have like an open root, you're going to feel a lot of pressure to have that experience. I have a defined center for my root, and so this is going to be a pressure that I feel, but it's going to be more in the subconscious because this is in my subconscious aspect of my chart as well. The more I think about it, though, the more I've studied human design, the more those subconscious or unconscious parts of yourself really start to show themselves. And I do feel like this gate is very accurate to me in the fact that there are a lot of experiences that I have, a lot of ideas that I have that kind of want to come out through this gate. And so what makes this gate, like what makes you figure out what experiences you need to live and which ones you don't? So the reason I love talking about this gate is because there is a limitation that comes to this gate, and it's a limitation of making the very best out of very little. And the limitation might seem like a negative thing at first, but in reality, the limitation is set there so that we can experience what we're supposed to experience and not get sidetracked on things that aren't necessarily for us to live out. When you have the gate 41, you can live out experiences in the imagination with pretty much books, music, anything that's kind of in that creative realm. That's why I love that, we use the word creativity to describe this gate, because in reality, it's all about using your creativity to maximize that limitation through our abilities to dream. So our ability to dream actually maximizes the limitation to a point where we can get through and actually push through that limitation when it is the right thing for us. Otherwise, we can live out these experiences through fulfilling, our imagination through books, fantasy, tons of things that we can use for our creativity. And so how do you know which ones are the right to live out and which ones are not? Well, first of all, the limitation will still be there regardless, but you'll have that practicality aspect for whatever you're living out. So whatever you need to fulfill, or whatever creativity that you need to fulfill as far as an experience goes for you, if you have this gate, one of the big things you want to look at is the practicality of it. Is this practical? Is this something that I can truly do? Is this something that is a fantasy? Is this something I really need to live out? Or is this something that I can live, creatively through writing or through reading or something like that? The desiring things have to be reasonable and they have to be practical as it applies to you. But you can take that experiences that are not practical, and again, you can apply them to reading or living out someone else's experience, but not necessarily having to fulfill it yourself. We can enter experience without having to do it. Your reflection and your ability to store in history through your experiences is what guides us, but not everyone gets to fulfill them. So once you've fulfilled that experience, it's actually the reflection of that experience and the pressure of desire that actually gets that gate to live out in our history. That's where we get storytelling. That's where we get tons of stuff, books, fantasy, all that stuff. So if it's for you to live out that experience, then there's going to be certain people that want to read about that, and it's going to be a part of the history. It's a part of the history that really matters, and that really you should stick by and think of throughout this whole video, is that it's the history of the experiences that kind of guide us to something new, and that limitation gets further and further from what it used to be. And so as we keep going and people keep fulfilling the right desires and the right experiences and of humanity, that we get to continue on this cycle of evolution.